Hello friends, I am so excited for today's video because I am just sitting down chatting with you guys, answering all the questions that y'all asked over on Instagram and here on YouTube. And I am just so excited to sit down and yap with you guys. I feel like it's been a minute, really like a very long minute since I have just done like a Q&A either on my stories or on YouTube. I couldn't even tell you the last time I did one of these on YouTube, and this is going to be all about like running and life. Like I said, I put up a little question box on both Instagram and YouTube, and so there's kind of like a wide range of questions, but I'm just excited to chat with you guys and kind of catch you up on all the things that are going on in life. And if this happens to be your first video of mine that you're watching, I am so happy you're here. My name is Molly. My husband and I live in Austin, Texas, and I just share about all the things that I love and are bringing me joy. So everything from running, reading, Disney, life in my 30s, and just navigating what all of that looks like. I am just so happy you're here, and obviously if you're returning, I am so thrilled that you were back. I've been creating content on Instagram for a while now. I've had my running page for I think like 3 years now, but have recently really gotten into YouTube and just have so much fun doing more of like the long-winded, casual, like chatty videos with you guys. So I'm just so happy that y'all continue to watch my videos and like engage with me over here, because it really just, it's so much fun for me, and I feel like I can really connect with y'all more on this platform. So just thank you so much for being here. I got a lot of questions and I wish I could answer them all, but I can't, especially because I've got a little over 30 minutes until my next meeting, so I'm just trying to get this in. And like I said, I love YouTube because I feel like I can be a little more long-winded, but I'm gonna try and not just like ramble too much. But I've divided my questions into running questions and then just other random like life questions, so I'll have that categorized below just in the little timestamp. So if you're not a runner and not interested in that stuff, you can just skip over to the life stuff. But I'm gonna start with running because I figure that's why a lot of y'all came over to this video from Instagram, is just to hear like running updates and everything like that. So I just copied and pasted like all of the questions that I could and made sense for this video into this notes page. Okay, the first question is, are you still going for a 100 miler in 2026? And if so, when will you start your training block? Always love your authentic content. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Those comments really do mean so much to me. So thank you so much just for caring and watching my content and for caring enough to ask a question. It's just a really cool feeling that people like care enough and are invested in the things that I'm doing in my life. So yes, this is a question I haven't asked quite frequently, and I'm also asking this question myself a lot. So if you're new here or just like didn't see it, I went for my first 100-mile ultra marathon at the beginning of this year in February, and I DNF'd at mile 55. I've got a couple videos all about it. I've got a race vlog, I got a Q&A after that video, just sharing all about it. And yeah, it's kind of funny. I had like the whole wide range of emotions that most people do really after any race, but I'm sure especially after a DNF, when I was out there, I was like, I'm done. Don't care. Don't want to do an ultra again. Don't want to try to run 100 miles again. Like absolutely no way. Like I gave it a shot and that's great, but we're done here. And then the next morning I was like, I think I want to come back. Like, I think I want to come back and redeem myself. And now, like 3-4 months removed from that race, I'm not sure what I want. A part of me still, the majority of me still really wants to get back out there, go for it again, and just like go for redemption. Obviously would love to cross the finish line, love to get the buckle. I think I've realized a lot just upon reflection that I did not give my training everything that I needed to give it in order to complete the race. That distance really humbled me, and I learned a lot while I was out there, and have just realized a lot of like loopholes in my training and what I was doing. And with that being said, I know that if I'm to go for it again, I really need to like give my training at least 2 times what I gave it this time around. And I worked with a coach. I loved my coach, but just like upon reflection, I don't think the training plan was good for me. I don't think it worked for me. So there's just like a lot of things that I've realized, and I get hesitant about going for it again because it was already a time-intensive training and I feel like I didn't give it enough time. And so knowing that it could potentially be like double the amount of time, I just don't know if 1, that's where I want to be spending all my time and energy, and 2, will I even have that capacity come fall? I'll get into like work stuff later, but yeah, a part of me just isn't really sure because I don't know if I will have that time and energy to give to training. But literally anytime I'm out on a run, I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta go back for that. Like we've got to get that buckle. So I think as long as like work things align and I feel like I have like the energy and the time, and like my body feels healed and ready to go for it, which we'll also talk about injuries and all that. But yeah, I think if I feel like I can give my training 110%, because that is what I will need in order to cross that finish line, then heck yes, I'm going for it. But I also just need to, you know, not weigh the cost, but just like, I want to analyze if I really have the capacity to give everything to that. I just know if I am going for it again, I want to do it right. And obviously it's never like guaranteed that you're going to cross the finish line, especially with these longer distance ultra marathons. But I think I would be disappointed this time around if I went for it and I didn't get it. And so I know that training just requires a lot more of me. So TBD on whether or not we go for it. Check back in the fall. I would start training sometime around like September, October. Yeah, October would give me 4 months to train for it, which should be sufficient, especially because I'll be back in like a running routine by that point. Next question is, did your ankle injury completely heal, or do you still feel any pain while running? I'm trying to patiently walk due to I cannot talk. I'm patiently trying to walk due to knee pain, but I'm hoping it will subside. Yeah, so a little background on my injury journey, because that is exactly what it's been. It's been a journey. 2023, I ran a 50-mile race. So much fun. Had a great time. Went in healthy. Finished strong. Great. I mean, I have a lot more I could say about that race, but overall, it was just great. Minus the weather. It was great. And then a couple months later, I sprained my ankle. It was a grade 3 ankle sprain. Absolutely awful. Took almost 4 months of no running and complete rest for it to heal, get back in shape. At that point, then I had the New York City Marathon coming up. So trained for New York City Marathon, contemplated going for 100K after that, then I never signed up, but then I stopped training for 100K because I realized I was just like burnt out and needed a break. And then I wasn't really running. Then I got the opportunity, this is early 2024, I got the opportunity to run in the Boston Marathon with Adidas, which was like, I'm not a fast runner. I was like, this is the opportunity of a lifetime to get to go and run this race. So I took that opportunity. It gave me about 7 weeks to train for a marathon because it was a little last minute, very late notice, and ended up getting plantar fasciitis. And then I took about 2 months off. So now we're like about a year ago. So early summer 2024, everything was healed. Everything was good. And then like late summer, I was playing pickleball because I love pickleball, and that just like flared up my plantar fascia again. And honestly, since then, that has been like the injury that I have been tending to and trying to heal, because it was healed. And then I just like was already kind of in the 100-mile training. And so I should have scaled back and I didn't, but I just like kind of ignored the plantar fascia, especially because if you're familiar with that injury, it's so annoying. But basically you just like wake up and it really hurts, and it never hurt me on like my runs or anything like that. So I just ignored it for a long time. And then about 2 weeks before the 100-miler at the beginning of this year, my Achilles like flared up and was very angry with me. At that point, we were so close to the race. I'd already had everything figured out and like set up with my family coming to crew and pace me. And so I still decided to go for it. And ultimately, both the Achilles and the plantar fascia are what caused me to drop. So that was a very long-winded background in case you weren't familiar with the injuries that I've been dealing with. So since the race, I've been in PT every single week, working on the Achilles, which is back to 100%, and the plantar fascia, which I would say is at like 75, 80%, because it is definitely getting better. So all that to say, you asked specifically about the ankle injury, but I know I've had a lot of like foot injuries that you could really be asking about any of them. But I did not run when I had the ankle injury because I knew the only way for that to heal was to like get off of it. So no, I did not. And I did wait for it to completely heal. I should have waited for my plantar fascia to heal. And that's like a lot of my hesitancy in trying to decide a race for the fall is like, I'm still not at 100% and I want to make sure I am. I do think I'll be there within like a week or 2 weeks, God willing. But yeah, for the most part, I would say, I mean, talk to a PT, like talk to a doctor. I've worked very closely with my PT all spring because I have had a couple other races even when I was tending to these injuries. So just worked really closely with her to come up with a plan to where I wasn't going to like re-injure myself or make anything worse. But yeah, typically I would say like if you have an injury, you need to attend to it. But like obviously listening to my story, I haven't always done that. So I'm not going to be like, you need to go do that. But advice would definitely be to see a PT and have someone you are working with. And especially like It definitely depends on your injury and everything, but rest will always do you great things. I love this next question. It's how do you build and maintain mental strength in running longer distances or faster paces and limit comparison to other runners in pace, body image, distance, and own where you are in the running journey? I think this is something that so many runners struggle with. I know comparison in so many areas, especially I think in our age, it's just like so natural to want to compare ourselves to other runners. And so to touch on the comparison, I think there's some like very practical and like tangible things you can do. And then obviously there's the more mental side, but I would just be very careful about who you are following online. I think there are running influencers of all different backgrounds, all different paces, all different body types. Depending on what your algorithm looks like, it might not feel like that. And so if you are on one side of where runners all look the same, they kind of have like all the same body types, they're all running Boston qualifying times, and like that's causing you to compare. One, I would say mute or block the people who you realize like these negative feelings are coming up for, but also go out of your way to make sure you're searching for creators who are running similar paces to you, have a variety of body types. Like I do not only have one type of body that I see in my feed, and I think it's really helpful because if you're getting on every day and you're only seeing like size 0 people with six packs who are running like 3-hour marathons, of course it's going to start to negatively affect you. I think people underestimate the power of what going online and seeing body diversity and seeing these different paces. I think people underestimate just like how positive of an impact that can have on you. I think it would eat me alive if every time I got on it was just like body type I don't look like, person I don't look like, speed I can't run, whatever. But that's just like not what my feed is. And then obviously when you're out and running and in races, that's like the coolest thing about running is you actually see that diversity like reflected in the races. And obviously there are people out there running of all different paces. So I think the online aspect is a very huge aspect, and I just encourage you to make sure that you are following a bunch of different people. And if you don't know how to find them, I would just say like look through comments of some of your favorite influencers, maybe see who else is commenting on them, or you can click like see similar accounts and just see who it brings up, or just like, you know, search like keywords like slow runner, slow pace, average running, whatever it is. So yeah, hopefully that like very practical tip is helpful. And then I will also say, I think something that, I don't know, it might feel like harder to do at first, but all of my friends are fast. All of my friends have qualified for Boston. They're all faster than me. They all run together in Austin, and I don't run with them because I don't like their like easy run would be like I'm huffing and puffing to do like a fast-paced workout. And I think if I wanted to, that's something that could like bum me out, but I use it one as like a motivator to, it's like I know all of them, I see how hard they work, I know the hard work that they have put in. So there's people around me who like encourage and inspire me to just be better in my running and my training if being faster is something I want to do, but also like how fast someone else runs, what someone else looks like in their sports bra and spandex, like none of that has anything to do with me. And like quite frankly, I just like don't really care, and not in a rude way, but it's like I am not like focusing that much on what other people look like or what they're running when they're out there. Like my running is for me, my running journey is for me. I'm running for my mental health. I'm running because it's fun, and running because it brings me joy and I get to be outside and just like think about all the positive things that running gives to me. And I think that's what's like so cool. We all have such individual, like an individual relationship with running that it's really like how fast someone else is running. One, it has nothing to do with you, but two, it's never going to take away from you. It's not like the person next to you running a 4-hour marathon is going to take away from you if you're running a 4-hour marathon, or like a 5-hour marathon, whatever. Like other people's accomplishments don't take away from your own running journey. So I would just remember that. And then as for the mental aspect, I talk about this a lot, I feel like on Instagram, but I will always try to do at least a chunk of my long runs without any music. I think people lean on music a little too much. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but yeah, people just use it. Like music is such a powerful tool. All of us know that. You know, you might do two miles without music, and then you turn on at mile 3 and you're like, oh yeah, I got this. Like it just gave you a huge boost. So we lean on music so much because it does give you that boost, but what if you take that away and then there's nothing and it's just you and your thoughts? I think that is where you can really work on the mental strength. And obviously, like if you've never done that, don't go out and try to run 20 miles without listening to music, because it is hard and it is an adjustment, but that in itself has helped me so much, because when you strip away the music and you're left alone with just your thoughts, that's when like a lot of the doubts start to creep in, and you have to teach yourself, okay, if you're doubting in this moment, what are you going to say to yourself? What are you going to do? Are you going to allow yourself to give up, or are you going to keep pushing through it? So it's a great opportunity just to really like lean into the mantras that you have and just like really push yourself mentally. And then overall, I think you just have to want the goal that you have set, and you have to go in knowing some of these runs are going to suck. What am I going to do when it sucks? I can either give up or I can just keep going, and I can tell myself I did a great job afterwards, or I can beat myself up afterwards. And every like hard workout and failed run is such a great opportunity to really work on your mental state, which then comes into play on race day, whether it's a 5K, it's a half, it's a 100-mile, whatever it is. Like, all of the things that you tell yourself throughout training matter so much on race day. I got asked, how often do you change out your running shoes, and do any brands give you them for free? Yes, I am very grateful. I think the past 2 years, I am like a little, not embarrassed to say this, but like, it's kind of crazy. I don't think I've bought a pair of running shoes in the past 2 years, which is so nice. Brands are so generous. I really like stick to primarily like the same couple of brands. Like I wear Ultras just on like a day-to-day walking around like our house and on walks. And then I primarily wear like Adidas, Hoka, New Balance. I have several like Nike trail shoes that I really like. I like Merrell trail shoes as well, but those are the ones that I primarily stick to. And I would say I switch them out around every like 400-ish miles. I definitely need to be better about like tracking my mileage on those shoes. What are some of your big bucket list races? Any format, distance, short distance to ultra? So the biggest one right now is definitely that 100-miler. Again, there's a lot that'll factor into whether or not I can get out and do it. There are some really incredible destination races. My problem is like I've become just like very realistic, and I'm like, there's definitely bucket list races like all over the world that I would love to do. Realistically, would we ever go and like spend that kind of money to go and do them? Probably not. So like then they're like off my bucket list, which is so boring of me. But yeah, I think the biggest bucket list race would be 100-mile ultra, specifically Rocky Raccoon, because I have some unfinished business. And then honestly, probably the London Marathon. It looks amazing. London's such a cool city, and I just hear great things. So yeah, probably the London Marathon. Most memorable race. I love this question. I mean, I just have so many memorable races. Obviously, like my first marathon is an incredible marathon in memory that I will never forget, and just like having my family and friends come out for it, like that is just so special. But I think overall, most memorable is the New York City Marathon. Dom and I did it together. It was just an insane experience. Like when you run a race and there are like packed sections of it, think of that times 10 for literally the entire course. Like it was just such a surreal feeling to be running through crowds that are like 8 people deep with my husband in such a cool city. It was just the most incredible experience. I tell people it was one of my favorite days, and just like favorite memories. That entire day was so great. So I love New York City Marathon. Next question, do you gain weight while training for ultras? So just like trigger warning if any type of body image and weight stuff is triggering for you, but 100% I have gained weight while training for ultras. I don't weigh myself, but I can 100% confirm that I have gained weight while training for ultras. Honestly, that I think it's just like a common misconception. People who aren't runners don't understand when you're training for these races, like you are just so hungry. And there's such a big difference. If you were to walk 10 miles, your appetite versus walking 10 miles to running 10 miles, you would be ravenous after running the 10. And yes, you'd be hungry after walking 10, but just like not nearly as hungry. So yes, I gained weight, and that's not a bad thing. Like you're giving your body what you need. It's the last thing you should be trying to do when you're training for these races is trying to like lose weight or getting worried about the weight. Your body needs more calories when you're training for these races, especially the ultras and like long distance, because you're just burning so much more when you are out there. So definitely don't be concerned about the weight gain. You can always lose it after if it's something that, you know, you really struggle with, but give your body what it needs. Do not try to limit the calories that you are eating during this time. I recently talked about how I fuel with candy, and it's a great like switch for gels. And so someone asked, how do you know which candy or how much candy works as a replacement for a gel? I'm about a month into half marathon training after taking a bit of a break, and I would love this as an option. It is such a great option. Yes, if you are not fueling with candy, y'all, it is so much more affordable than the gels. Like you can literally get a bag of candy for like what the price of like a little jealous, and I definitely still fuel with gels. I love the gels. I found gels that like really work for my stomach and my sensitive tummy issues, but I love fueling with candy. It's fun, it's yummy. I love candy. It's a great excuse just to be chomping on it. So usually any like of the gummy candies, so like Swedish Fish, I know people do gummy bears, I do Nerd Clusters, I love the sour watermelon, and then I would just kind of compare like nutrition facts. You're looking at like the carbs from the candy to gels that you usually use, but I'll just do like a handful, and when I would have taken a gel, I'll just like eat a handful. I'm not super like, okay, I need to take this amount instead of the gel. Like I'm not counting anything out. I'm really just like grabbing a big handful and eating what I need as I get hungry. Tips for going from a half to a full marathon as a slower runner. It is so many hours. It is so many hours. It really is. I always tell people I don't necessarily care about like my speed or my pace. However, the one time I care is when I see how much faster my friends can get their long runs done. I'm like, that would be nice. That would be very nice. So I get it. I feel like this is like not helpful at all to hear this, but really just like being intentional with your calendar and your time. It's just a matter of the training. Like you really have to be good about saying yes and no to certain things. And especially in like the summer, at least in Texas where it's very hot, like getting up early and getting your run done so you can still have the rest of your day. And so I know it's sometimes really painful, but like if you get up and at 'em, you can finish your long runs by like 10 a.m., be home, eat breakfast, showered by 11, and still have the bulk of your day. Make sure you are eating enough breakfast so you can actually enjoy your day and not just like, you know, rot on the couch, which I definitely do too. There's nothing like a post long run rot. I love it. But yeah, I would just say get used to like the waking up early and prioritizing your time with your calendar. And also if you're realizing it is just taking too much time, there are training plans that are time-based versus distance-based. I don't have any experience with that, but I do know that that is an option. So that also might be something that is more like intriguing for you. Got a couple questions about just like gear and shoes and like colorful accessories, for lack of better words. Someone asked like my favorite colorful gears, shoes, apparel, and then sports bra and running shorts. Rex, I love your positive vibes. Thank you so much. I get my clothes from a variety of brands. I love a colorful running fit. I am almost always in color. I don't really wear black, even in like my day-to-day. I don't really wear much black. I'm wearing brown now, but yes, I always recommend Poshmark for looking for brands. If you see any brands and they have like fun, colorful stuff, go look on Poshmark and see if they have the item that you were looking for on there, because I've gotten some great clothes on there, sometimes with tags. So always a great option. And then great brands for just like really fun and colorful gear. Free People Movement, which there's a lot of that on Poshmark. So definitely look there because it can be a little expensive just for like the quality, but definitely Free People Movement. Janji has amazing colorful gear for trail running specifically. I just got a pair of their shorts a couple weeks ago and I'm obsessed. It is a little bit more expensive, but I love them. They're the shorts I ran the trail run in on our like perfect spring day, my birthday vlog. In case you're wondering, there's like a cute little purple split shorts. So I love Janji. Sanita has some really, really great clothes, and I've got a couple of their like biker shorts and their bras that I really like, and they come in a lot of like fun colors and also fun bright patterns. So definitely recommend looking there. Cool Down also has some really fun colors as well. They're also a little bit more pricey, and a good like alternative if it's out of your price point is, I don't know how to say it. I think it's just CRZ Yoga, I believe is the name. It's like an Amazon dupe for like all the brands like Lululemon and whatnot, and they have such good colors, and I ran the New York City Marathon in some of those shorts, so they work great for me. I love them. Great quality. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Outdoor Voices, did I already say that? Outdoor Voices also has very colorful stuff and a lot on Poshmark as well. Okay, I'm getting a little worried that this was about to be a very long Q&A video, so we're going to jump into the live questions, and hopefully I will not be as yappy in these. Okay, first question is, what do you do for work? I really don't mention, I realize, that much about my work on here. I've always been that way, just kind of keeping like my work and like online content creation life pretty separate, but I've been freelancing full-time since 2020. The reason we moved to Austin from the Dallas-Fort Worth area was because I got a job in Austin, then the pandemic happened and everyone got laid off, and I've essentially just been freelancing since then. I freelanced for that employer that like laid me off for a while, and yeah, it is wonderful. It's amazing. I do a lot of copywriting. I do a lot of influencer marketing. I do blogs. I do emails, social strategy, like building out content calendars and, all the captions and stories and all of that for a lot of brands. So I've got about 6 or 7 clients now that I do those for. Some of them I do a lot more for. Some of them I only do blogs or emails for. So my scope with all my clients is very different. I've got a wide range of clients as well. I've got some in healthcare. I've got some in B2B. I've got all over the place. But ultimately, someone also asked about my goals. So this is kind of bleeding into this. I am tired. I was so tired, and freelancing for a lot of different clients has truly been amazing, and I love all of my clients, and it has allowed me to scale my income, and there have been so many positives, but I have been starting to feel like a chicken running around with my head cut off, just trying to respond to everyone in a quick matter of time. Obviously, with so many different clients, I'm the only person they're using for marketing, and so it's a priority to them. But when I have 7 people and they all have these priorities, just trying to figure out how to manage my time and my energy, I just feel like it's getting a little difficult. So I have been talking with one of my clients about going full-time with them, which is the goal. I've wanted to be full-time really just anywhere for a while now, since last year. I kind of just started to feel the way that I'm saying now about freelance, and just how it maybe isn't the best fit for me anymore, and it served me very well in previous and past seasons. But yeah, I just feel like full-time is a lot more of what I'm looking for. So yeah, the conversations are happening with literally would be my dream company to work for them. I love everyone working for them. They're a startup, so they're still raising funds and raising capital, but hopefully I'm praying by the end of the year I will be full-time with them. And honestly, I will probably still freelance for a lot of my clients because I do really love them and I do love the work that I am doing for them. But I'm just looking for a little bit more of not that working full-time somewhere would be calmer or easier, but I do think it would be a lot easier with just managing the priorities and everything. So yep, that's what I do for work, marketing freelance, but hopefully by the end of the year it is not still freelance. I love this next question because I love talking about all these things, but someone asked, how do you organize your time, books, partner, work, running, all of the things? And I love this question because a couple years ago I realized that I really was just putting a lot of my energy and time into running, into work, and into my husband. But there's so many things outside of those 3 buckets that I love and am passionate about. And so now I feel like I've always been someone with a lot of hobbies and am passionate about a lot of things, but just especially in the past few years, I've realized I need a more balanced rhythm and approach to all the things that I love. And like I just mentioned with my job, it can be very hard to figure out how to manage my energy and everything. But I feel like I do a pretty good job, and a lot of that has to do with just boundaries and knowing when to say yes and no. But I think a few very practical and easy things that Dom, my husband, and I do, we always go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, which might sound very simple. And I know for some people that is just not even possible. We also don't have kids, so I know that sleep schedules get very crazy and different once you have kids and everything. But I think it's great for us because we always talk at night once we're in bed together, and just waking up together too. We get to spend some of our mornings together. We also try and go on a walk several times out the week, usually 2 to 3 miles, and that's great intentional time. Obviously we go on dates and prioritize date nights as well. And then we also always eat dinner together. We don't watch when we are we don't eat when we're watching anything. So that is also time that we get together. And then when I am training, he'll join me for a lot of my runs, whether he's actually running with me or on the bike alongside me. And we usually talk the whole time. So that is also a very added benefit of us spending time together. We always spend our weekends together. So luckily we both really love spending time with one another. So it's not hard for us to prioritize our relationship, and a lot of the same things. We have a lot of mutual ground for what's fun for us. So it's going on the walks together is fun. Having a board game night, chill at home together is very fun. So definitely just the easy, I feel that's a lot of low hanging fruit for how he and I prioritize time together. And then I know I mention this all of the time, but I don't think I would be able to do everything that I do if I wasn't waking up early. And so waking up early, get my runs in. If I've got a little extra time before work, I will usually try and read, because reading is one of my biggest hobbies and passions. And a couple years ago, I just let that completely fall to to the wayside, and I don't want that to happen again. And if I'm leaving reading for only right when we get in bed, I just like, I'm gonna read like 2 pages. So intentionally carving out time either in the morning or right after finishing work to like read and do other hobbies. We've got great friends in Austin. I will say they all have like pretty different schedules with their time than Dom and I do. Like we are always like the first to leave and go to bed. And that's just something that I've learned to be okay with. Like it is okay if you're the first one to leave. It's okay if people are like, oh wait, like you're leaving already? It's like only 8 o'clock. And it's like, yep, bedtime it's within an hour. Like I need my sleep. So I think just like being comfortable with those boundaries that you need to draw, and really just like not saying yes to things that you really don't want to go to. I know I still like fall victim to that, but overall I think I've gotten a lot better about being like, oh, y'all are all seeing a movie. I don't really want to spend 2 hours of my Sunday in a movie theater. Like, I would rather be at home reading. So, like, y'all go, you have fun. I'm going to be here. And yeah, just like being confident in your decisions and what is actually fun for you. And then lastly, I will say, I'm not a big like movie or TV show watcher. Dom and I definitely have like our shows and documentaries that we watch. I try not to spend that much time scrolling on social media. And so just like, I saw how much time I was like wasting doing those other things, and knowing that like there's a lot of other things I could be doing in that time, whether it's reading, doing a craft, sewing, needlepoint, whatever. So yeah, I think it just comes down to like knowing what's important to you and like seeing where you're spending your time doing something, but it's not like life-giving to you. Just like really paying attention to that stuff. Sorry to charge my camera because it was about to die, but I'm going to try and like rapid fire these next few questions. Someone asked if we have any international plans coming up, running related or not. Yes, Dom and I are going to London and Paris here in a couple weeks. I'm so excited. It has been 10 years since I've been to London and Paris, and Dom has never been before, and we've got such a fun itinerary. I can't wait. We always try, at least for now, while it's still possible, to do like one bigger trip every year, just, you know, while we don't have kids and everything. It's just a little more feasible for us. So yes, we've been planning and saving for a while. I can't wait. Someone asked what my goals are, career, personal, physical, whatever. I touched on job stuff earlier. I would say that's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, priorities and goals that I have right now is just getting a full-time job. And I'm not actively looking because I've been having these conversations with my client, and as far as I know, we are like on track for that to happen once they can make it happen on their end. Like we've talked salary, we've talked roles, responsibilities, all that. So that is definitely my career goal, is getting back into full-time and really just being able to give all my energy to one company that I love and care about. In terms of like personal and physical goals, I would definitely say just like getting into my healthiest shape is a priority for me. We've been married 4 years. We're not ready to have kids yet, but we do know that like that time will be coming within the next year or so. And so really just doing everything that both of us can do just to be our healthiest self, and, you know, starting to take supplements, starting to be really intentional about movement and strength training and what we're putting in our bodies and nutrition. That's been like a huge focus for us, even just these past few weeks, just starting to realize like, obviously you cannot control the timing of when you get pregnant and, you know, what your body does, but there are things that are in your control, such as preparing it as best as you can with like nutrition and supplements. So yeah, I definitely just really want to get healthy for whenever we are ready to be in that season of trying for kids, which is so exciting to think about. But yeah, those are definitely the two like biggest priorities that I have. And then I don't really know if this counts as a goal, but just continuing to like make our house a home and decorating it and making it just like feel very us. Those are top of the list. Next question was favorite books I've read in 2025. I love this question because I love to read. Without a doubt, the best book that I have read this year, and I don't see any books topping it by the end of this year. So I guess we'll see in the next 6 months. But My Friends by Frederick Bachman, which someone also asked, they said they were just starting it and what did I think of it? This is your answer. Literally obsessed. It is the best book. It is in my top 5 books for sure. I love his writing. His writing is definitely unique, but it is so powerful, so beautiful. Loved all the characters in this book, and it was like such a simple plot for a book, but oh my gosh, there was so much depth to it. So essentially this one character, Louisa, has loved this one painting her entire life. She's 17, but it's this painting of like the blue sea, and there's like a pier, and you can see there's like 3 people on the pier. And so essentially the story is the story of those 3 people sitting on the pier and her like figuring out what the painting was about and all that. It literally is so good. I feel like that wasn't a good description of it, but I promise it. Obsessed. I feel like I read like half the book to Dom because his writing is just so powerful, and I was like underlining so many things. So loved that book. And then also an incredible book, but I feel like it doesn't even touch how much I loved My Friends. But I finally read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, my first Kristen Hanna. I read it in, I think it was Boston, yeah, and read it on the plane back and was like sobbing. I loved it so much. I am realizing that I just love historical fiction, like all of the historical fiction, which hasn't been that many that I've read in the past year. I've loved all of them, so I'm excited to keep reading historical fiction. I have one back there that I just like randomly found last time we went to the bookstore that I can't wait to read. Is like top of my like TBR list. Can't wait to read it. But yeah, those two books are my favorites so far. Oh, but speaking of favorites, I read The Favorites, is that what it was, by Lane Fargo? Loved that book. I feel like I heard a lot of people talking about it, but then a lot of people still haven't heard of it. So fun. Highly recommend that one as well. Okay, two final questions. One is, how are you liking your new house so far? We love it so much. If you have been following me on YouTube for a while, then you've probably heard me say this like 1,000 times, but the last apartment that we lived in for 15 months was 400 square foot studio. And so honestly, even just like having a bigger space and like me being able to have my own office, it has been, oh my gosh, it has just been the best. Like every single day we're like, oh my gosh, I love our house. Like this is so great. It's so fun. Like love the way we're decorating it. I feel like so far it does feel like very us, which is so fun, just getting to like put our personality everywhere. And yeah, we love it. There's definitely a lot with a house that like I maybe wasn't prepared for in terms of like maintenance and finances, but overall it has just been such a great experience. We're so grateful, and yeah, we just love it. Okay, and then this last question I definitely want to hear y'all's opinions and thoughts on, because like the reason I create content is for y'all. Yes, it is a lot of fun for me, so don't get me wrong in that, but a lot of it is for y'all and like getting to connect with y'all. So someone said, seeing you promote new brands all the time makes it hard to trust Rex. Example, OV arrow to cool, which I think she means, I'm assuming she means Outdoor Voices to cool down. And I just want to say I totally understand and get it from like the consumer perspective, because I also have influencers I love and follow. Like when people say they like don't like seeing new brands, or that it's like hard to trust you when you're talking about all these different brands. But then I'll just like be completely honest, I also don't really get it because I've been wearing Outdoor Voices for such a long time now, but I've also been wearing Cool Down since I first like discovered them. And alongside that, I'm using those two brands as the example because that's like who she specifically called out. But it's like, I have also been wearing Amazon for a long time. And then when I discovered Janji, I started to wear Janji. When I discovered New Balance had great shorts, I started to wear New Balance shorts. And it's like, I'm going on these runs. I'm training. I'm running 13 miles and then I'm running 20 miles. And then I'm not going to like be wearing a brand just because they paid me to wear it, because that would be very uncomfortable. To be wearing something that I didn't like or feel good in or feel comfortable in for that long of a run. So I feel like I struggle because it's like, well, you can see what I'm using and what I'm wearing. And I've never only talked about like one brand. I still love Outdoor Voices. You can go and see probably within the last like 12 posts I've done, I'm likely wearing an Outdoor Voices sports bra because I wear them all the time. But I also wear like cool down shorts all the time. So I think I struggle when people say that, because it's like, I don't know, when I see someone else with an ad, I think it's really cool because I'm like, one, heck yeah, like go girl, like get your bag, like make that money. That is so cool. I'm so excited for you. But also a lot of times I'm introduced to new brands that I didn't otherwise know of, or I see a style of the shorts at like some brand that I didn't know they had out there. And so it just like introduces me to new things. And that's what I feel like my perspective is on it as well. I'm never going to say yes to someone who I don't love. Like my work requires a lot of me. It requires a lot of time and a lot of energy, as I've said. And so I'm usually filming sponsored content on the weekend, which then that just means it's taking away from like my time to relax or my time with Dom or stuff like that. And so I'm very intentional with the brands that I'm working with. I definitely had a lot of ads in April and May, and I really try to like space them out as much as I can, but sometimes you just like don't have that much control, and I didn't have that much time to create organic content. So I know it felt like an overload of ads, and I get that people don't like that, but then like the other part of me is like, but why? Like, why? Well, I guess like I really trust like all the influencers that I follow, and I trust their recommendations. And if I see an ad and it like doesn't feel like it's for me or whatever, I just like scroll and keep going. So I don't know. I'm definitely open to like hearing y'all's perspectives on that. Again, like I never want my feed on Instagram to feel like ad. And I know it felt like that in May. I just like didn't have capacity to create as much content as I would have wanted in between all of them. And then also like brands are like, hey, can you post this tomorrow? Hey, can you post this tomorrow? And it's like, ooh, okay, you kind of have to stick to like the deadlines that they have set. So yeah, I promise I'll never talk about something that I don't love and use. And again, like hopefully you can see that I'm going out and like I'm specifically like cool down. You've seen me run for over 2 hours like in these outfits. So yeah, I just discovered them like after I discovered Outdoor Voices. And yeah, I just love sharing the things that I love with you guys. There's no pressure to ever like buy something that I talk about. Again, like if it's not for you or isn't serving you, you can just keep scrolling. I'm not offended if you unfollow me because you're like not enjoying my recommendations anymore. Like I want my content to be helpful and to serve y'all. And I just like love showing the things that I'm discovering. But I get that some people feel like ads are forced, and I feel like there's really like at the end of the day, there's not that much that I can do about that. But yeah, I would definitely love to hear y'all's like perspective on ads. Obviously, if you only follow me on YouTube, you're like, what is this girl talking about? Because my channel is so small and I don't do them here, but I definitely do a fair amount over on Instagram. It's a lot slower this summer, so if you do hate ads, you're in luck because I don't have that much coming up this summer in terms of ads. But I just see it as a really cool opportunity to work with brands that I love and have admired for a long time, and for a lot of them have like used for a long time. I think of like Shocks, and I was wearing them for years before they reached out to me. Just like one more thought and then I will sum it up. Just because you wear one brand, it doesn't mean like you can't wear another. Like I feel like most of my friends, whether they're influencers or not, they own multiple brands of shoes. It's not all just one brand. So it's like same for me. I'm gonna work with Adidas if they want to work with me. I'm gonna work with New Balance if they want to work with me. I want to work with Hoka if they reach out to me, because I wear all these shoes and I wear all these brands. So of course, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to work with them. And I think that's where some of the confusion comes in, because I feel like people are like, oh, well, you're just talking about this brand and now you're talking about that brand. But like, isn't how most of us operate? Like, aren't we using and wearing multiple brands? So I don't know. There's no hate to this question at all. I am like so open about all this stuff and I love talking about it. Love talking about it in my DMs as well. Like I will not block you if you say something like this. Like I'm so open to feedback and want to like chat about this. And this is just my perspective on it. So I definitely welcome any thoughts or like conversation on the below, or if you think there's like, you know, a better way to do sponsored content. Again, I know it's only on Instagram and a lot of y'all maybe aren't on there, but yes, that is just like a little ramble and ending to this Q&A. If you made it that far, but hopefully hearing my perspective on like ads and, you know, paid content is interesting or anything. I feel like I really don't talk too much about the content creation side of things, and I genuinely do love chatting about all of that. So if you have any questions about any of it, would love to hear. And yeah, I just so appreciate y'all for being here and for asking such great questions. Like I said at the beginning, I just love YouTube. I love the community we have formed on here. I get so excited just to chat with you guys in my comments. I try to respond to all of them, and so I'm sorry if I haven't gotten back to someone in the past, but just know it means so much to me and brings me so much joy that we get to connect on here. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for asking these questions, and I'll see y'all in the next video.